Hello, my name's Sean Burton. I'm here today to talk about my artwork, Anzac 2.0. Anzac 2.0 is my remix of an original artwork by Australian war artist Fred Least. Fred Least's artwork, Australia in the War, was painted in 1918. It had a dramatic effect on me when I first saw it nearly 100 years later. Most of my artwork tells other people's stories, but Anzac 2.0 is my story. It is probably the most personal and challenging piece of work I've produced to date. My artwork, Anzac 2.0, explores and challenges modern Anzac identity and addresses my own personal feelings of disconnection from the myth and legend. So when I saw Fred Least's artwork, as much as I loved it, I wanted to bring it forward 100 years to actually reflect contemporary service. At the time, I was living in the western suburbs of Melbourne, in Footscray, and I just changed it to All Quiet in the Western Suburbs because at the time when I was actually thinking about this artwork in my studio, I was struck how quiet it actually was, when there was so much turmoil going on in me and around me. But at that moment in time, it was very quiet. One of the other elements that I wanted to introduce into this remix was based on my own observations of how our servicemen and women look nowadays, where there seemed to be a lot more tattooing, and a lot of that tattooing was reflecting Australiana, bringing in bushrangers, Southern Cross and the Rising Suns. In 1918, it cost a penny to go to an artwork exhibition featuring some of Fred Least's artworks. 100 years on, we're now using cryptocurrency, and coins and cash are now maybe becoming obsolete. There was a one-dimensional reference to watching the Australian military band play, but I wanted to bring in an element that would actually engage people more readily. So I used a QR code, which we're probably all quite familiar with now, but at the time it was a bit of a gamble. I wasn't sure how people would actually react to it. I actually used the QR code to connect people with an Australian veteran's music video where he told his personal story of his service. Another element that I wanted to bring into my artwork was how communication has changed over 100 years. During World War I, mail would probably take weeks, maybe even months to arrive to reach the front line in the form of letters. Now, 100 years on, thanks to satellite technology, we have instantaneous links with home through telephone calls or even email, internet. It's instantaneous good and bad news, which in itself is a double-edged sword. The beer sticker on the helmet represents my concern about the growing commercialisation of Anzac Day. Anzac Day to me is something that is to be commemorated, and it shouldn't be a commercial opportunity, and it shouldn't be exploited for commercial gain. For me, one of the most important elements of this artwork was the introduction of the anti-malarial tablets at the bottom right of the picture. This is a reminder of the controversy surrounding the anti-malarial drug testing that was conducted on our servicemen and women nearly 20 years ago. It's paramount that we honour the fallen, but it's also important that we remember the living